To get a potentially race-winning car in F1 is as good as it gets. Then I guess it's up to you to see what you do with it. What about getting it in your first full season in Formula One? Are there pros and cons to that, or is there only an upside?
Well, Liam joins Red Bull, but what's more stunning is the impact Max had on him. Check this out.
There's definitely pros and cons to that. I think I think where my head's at, obviously I'm just looking at the pros, and for me it's super exciting, and I know it's going to be extremely tough. A lot of tracks I've never been to, but yeah, as you say, to be in a car that's just won the World Championship, it's, as a driver, that's extremely exciting, knowing that you're going into a competitive situation, but I'm fully aware of how tough it's going to be. But at the end of the day, I've also got the best in the world to compare to and learn from, and there's nobody better really to be able to, for me, I get access every single session, all the data, things like that I get to see. So at the moment I'm just excited.
Yeah. Have you a relationship with Max Verstappen already? That's who you were talking about. Has he been helpful to you in your time at Red Bull?
For sure. I think even probably without him realizing it, being in reserve for quite a few years, I started actually spending a lot more time with Red Bull Racing than VCarb, and as a reserve I was watching all the sessions, listening to his debriefs, listening to his communication during the sessions, and just watching from in the background. So I spent a lot of time almost watching how he does it, and seeing how his communication is with the team, his feedback, and then stepping in as a reserve last year in Zandvoort. Little things, giving me sort of little bits of advice, mostly on the mindset of how he goes about it. He's obviously a very relaxed guy outside of the car, and he manages to push away a lot of the pressure, I think. So for me, that was something to watch and learn from.
Max Verstappen's mindset is a huge part of his dominance in F1. Watching how he communicates with his team and maintains that focus, even under extreme pressure, is a valuable lesson for any driver. It shows that success in motorsport is as much about mental resilience as it is about raw speed.
Yeah. Listen, you're not his first partner here. In fact, there's been a little bit of a turnover, can I put it in those terms. Have you any kind of theory why others have found it hard to be alongside him, maybe adapt to the car which he has pushed in a certain way in terms of its characteristics?
Well, I've driven the car over the last couple of years and done tests, and I can say the car's very aggressive, and it takes a lot of confidence to drive it, honestly, and I think that's where Max is obviously extremely confident as a driver. But the main thing is he's the best in the world right now. So to go up against the best guy is always going to be very, very tough, and ultimately that's probably the main reason that anybody has struggled so far to go up against him.
Yeah. Do you think you've got this gig because of what you've shown on the mental side? And elite sport at this level is very much being able to cope. As you've alluded, you've been thrown in at times. You've had to be strong mentally and calm. Is that one of the reasons why you've been picked?
I don't fully know, but I'd like to think so. I think as a Red Bull junior in the first place, you're dealing with that pressure from a young age, and obviously I'll never forget the phone calls from Helmut at 6 a.m. As a 16-year-old kid, and basically that pressure of being a junior almost comes with the job, and in a way I'm very thankful for it, because it's basically obviously sculpted us as drivers to be ready for F1. I think if you don't have that and you had to step into F1, that would be extremely tough, and I couldn't imagine doing that now without what I've been through. So obviously it's a part of it, but I don't fully know. Yeah.
Being part of the Red Bull Junior program means dealing with a constant pressure to perform, and it's that kind of mental toughness that sets drivers like Liam Lawson apart. Max Verstappen's success comes not just from his driving skill, but from the mindset he brings to the team and car every race.
So you, in a sense, have to develop a bit of a thick skin, because, as we announce this, as you're announced today, there'll be those that say, oh, why wasn't it Yuki Tsunoda? Why wasn't it Carlos Sainz? You can deal with that. That's easy to deal with.
The easiest thing is just not to read it, and I think that's what I've learned from being in my short time in F1. I think we spend all the years preparing to drive the cars, be physically fit enough to deal with the pressure, to deal with all of that. But one thing you probably don't prepare for is the outside, you know, the people looking in and sort of the feedback from the world. Luckily, I've had a taste of it so far, and honestly, the best thing to do is not read it. And I know that it won't make everybody happy, but you know, for me, it's an extremely exciting opportunity, and for me, I'm just focused on making the most of it.
Yeah, well, it's not your call at the end of the day. You've just got to get on with it. Listen, you kind of alluded to this. How much of a luxury will it be for you to have a full pre-season and to get in the car and know that there's a whole season ahead of you?
That's something that as you said, I've never had, and it's exciting. I don't really know what to do with myself, to be honest, because I've got so much time to think about it now. I almost just want to get straight into it. So, yeah, it's going to be important. It's how you use that time as well. Obviously, we'll start early. I'm sure in January already we'll be doing a lot of preparations. And honestly, it's just about making the most of it. Going into the Bahrain test, making the most of the time in the car. Yeah, and then obviously going into the season. A few tracks that I've not done, but having the time to prepare for it properly, obviously it's on how you use that time, and we'll be trying to make the most of it.
Yeah.
Liam Lawson's ability to filter out the outside noise shows a maturity beyond his years. In F1, handling the intense pressure is just as crucial as speed, but how does one truly prepare for the mental aspect of this sport? It's not just about being physically ready to race, it's about having the mental fortitude to block out the constant criticism and focus on improving. For Lawson, not reading the negative feedback is an important tool, but how will he channel that mental strength into performance on the track with the added luxury of a full preseason?
I mean, the kind of targets that were set to Checo Perez were to be close to Max. That was the aim. I mean, if this car again is capable of wins and fighting for the driver's title, would it be your own target to make sure that you can be contenders for the constructors as well? Is that a kind of baseline that you're looking at?
I mean, I would say yes, from a team perspective, and I would say what my job is as a driver coming into Red Bull Racing is to fight for that constructors. That's the main team goal. So obviously that's what I'm set out to try and do, and anyway, achieving the best results is going to achieve that. So for me, my focus is to do as well as possible. Obviously, my ultimate goal in Formula One is to win a world championship. Am I expected to come and do that straight away? No, but obviously that's where I'm trying to head to, and for me, I'll be trying to do the best job I can in supporting the team, and yeah, at this stage, I don't know how it's going to go, but I think from a team perspective, yes, the goal is to try and compete as close to Max as possible.
Okay. Well, just to put a full stop on your appointment, a word about Checo, and you've known each other for a few years as well. How much respect do you have for his contribution to Formula One, the way he's carried the flag for Mexico, amongst other things?
It's huge. I mean, honestly, it goes back to when I was a kid, and I remember watching. I remember watching a race that I think really was one of his big sort of putting him on the map was in Malaysia in the Sauber, and he was fighting with Fernando Alonso. Yeah.
Liam Lawson's perspective on his role at Red Bull highlights a key understanding of both individual and team goals. While aiming to compete closely with Max Verstappen is the baseline expectation, can Lawson truly challenge for a world championship in the near future? In a team like Red Bull, where Max sets such a high standard, it will take immense focus, determination, and adaptability. Lawson's focus on the Constructors' Championship also shows maturity, as supporting the team is just as crucial as personal ambition. Will he be able to balance those objectives and carve out his own path to success?